let's talk about Figma and Chill, right? The thing that you've heard about, you might have seen in articles that were not sanctioned by us. But before we talk about this, we got to talk about last year, right? Last year was just like a full dumpster fire. Like, would you guys agree?
Yeah, panoramic.
Yeah.
The panoramic.
Yeah.
Right?
Pepperoni pan pizza.
But through all of that, we found community, right? So whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on Twitch, whether you're on a Zoom call with like 100 people, we found ways to find community. And one thing that did not stop during all this has to be innovation.
Right. And I think that's where our story really starts, because we all found each other on Clubhouse. Clubhouse is an invite-only social media app where people get to join these different rooms that are audio only. No text, no typos, just conversations. Some of the rooms, they feel like classrooms. Some of them feel like interactive podcasts. But I mean, we can't really get a good understanding of Clubhouse until we talk about some of the rooms, right, Aladrian?
Yeah, absolutely. But before we get into the specific rooms, did anybody else like spend way too much time on Clubhouse?
Yeah, you should have seen.
Oh yeah, there was actually a room about that. I think it was called Clubhouse Crackheads. It was something really wild,
yeah.
Right? I think it's something really crazy. So as we talk about that, let's get into some of these notable rooms.
Yeah, so one of my favorite rooms. It wasn't the Clubhouse Crackhead room, whatever. But it was a room that started by a comedian named Leah Lamar. It started at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which was 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. And it was like how to win friends and influence people, wrong answers only. So they were trolling all the stuff that people would do in those serious rooms on Clubhouse. And I thought that was hilarious. And then Kevin Hart actually crashed a room that was about him not being funny. And that was really funny.
I don't know if we want to talk about that PR nightmare, right? That's a lot. But I think we should talk about Valerie's favorite room.
Oh yeah, yes, we got to bring that up.
We can't talk about Clubhouse without talking about the bearded black man reading to you before you go to bed. Come on now. How did you not love this room?
I don't know if we're ready for a sample. I think the next slide.
I don't think the world's ready for a sample, right?
All right.
So, we gave you kind of a quick recap. We got to talk about how this all really started, right? So I think it started with a little bit of hope, right? So Hope, take us through what was going through your mind when you got on Clubhouse and you're like, I'm going to start a room called Figma and Chill.
So as you heard before, there's been a whole bunch of tomfoolery on Clubhouse, but none of it really met my interests. So I'm a chill guy normally, and I also really like Figma, and I'm less about talk and more about action. And so I thought it'd be cool to do stuff actually on Clubhouse while talking. So I opened up a room called Figma and Chill, and yeah, at that point, it was just me.
Was the emphasis heavy on chill? Because I could imagine, you got Netflix and chill. So was this your second iteration of that?
See, I'm evolving. We're always evolving, and definitely that was
MVP level style, right? So okay, let's talk about this. Who first joined the room, and what did you guys talk about?
So it was me for a bit, just sitting in that room because that's how Clubhouse works. But then some strangers started popping up, and it was actually Jay and Olive, who had no clue what Figma was. They were like, "What's a Figma? Why are we chilling in it?" So I had to route them to the file, tell them how to use the basic shapes and stuff. And after a while, we just started talking about live, and the conversation actually turned into the topic of the Black Power Ranger.
You know what? I think we might have something that shows that very first room.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, right here.
Wow.
So Hope, take us through this, because I see a lot of different pieces here that the audience might not understand.
Yeah, so the conversation turns to creation, where we were collaborating on that Black Power Ranger you might see on your screen. But below it, you'll see a little Hotep snowman with some Jordans. And that, a lot of people started joining the file, and they created their own snowman. But I feel like the people don't know what a Hotep snowman is.
You know what? I think they're gonna have to do a quick Google search after all this is done. Okay. But what I will say is, I believe we predicted versus with Gucci and Jeezy, because as you see there, Jeezy is known for the snowman. We brought in Gucci, so I believe we're really ahead of the curve here.
Wow.
Would you agree?
Yeah, the curve is behind us.
Okay, but I will say this as a designer too, right? And I do product design. We were not ahead on the curve of how we got people to this file. So let's talk about that really quick, because we do get a little professional around here, right? So as you see here is this visual display. It was really wild when Clubhouse first started, and you had links, and you had to do a bunch of things to get people to another file, right? So this is the original Figma and Chill. As you can see, super wavy. But you know what we did? As designers, we simplified.
Yes.
So what do? We got a URL. We sent people straight to the URL, and that is really the birth of Figma and Chill, and that's how we could bring more people in. So with that being said, let's bring some more people in. Let's bring in Aladrian. Aladrian, tell us about one of your most memorable moments of Figma and Chill.
You know, there's a lot of memorable moments about Figma and Chill, but one of my favorite sessions was the Afrofuturism session. And what I learned is that you could do so much within Figma that had nothing to do with product design. And I was grateful for that. So like you'll see like these little vignettes. Shout out to Lenora for the shading on this one face in the upper right corner. But my favorite contribution was doing this illustration of the Arc Android by Janelle Monáe with my girl Leah. I see her in the chat. What's up, Leah?
Shout out to Leah, who's always hitting the early and late night workouts. We appreciate you.
Yes.
You know who I think was in this session though?
Valerie. I think this was Valerie's first room, right?
This was Valerie's first room. So Valerie, what made you enter Figma and Chill in Clubhouse?
You know, I think about this all the time, and I don't know. I'm not a designer. I'm a developer. And so when I saw Figma and Chill, I thought, you know, maybe these could be my people, maybe not. Jumped into the room, saw a whole bunch of Black techies, and I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm not going to really be that interested in designing, but I am interested about the conversations that we can have together, because being Black in tech, it's not that easy. Not everyone gets it, but this room did, and that's why I'm still here.
You know, we love to hear it, and you're absolutely right. Being Black in tech is very much so a thing that people might not get. So with that being said, let's see where we load up on this. Let's get some folks into the room. Guys, well, how do you feel about being Black in tech?
I
love it. Black tech, green money.
Right? There's good things to it. You could make, I feel like Black people are really good at making something out of nothing. And with tech, you have that behind you. You're just empowered by it.
You know, that's absolutely right. And just like anything, when you do it live and you do it MVP style, what do you have to do? Sometimes you just got to get into that file. You gotta see what's happening, and you gotta clean it up. So now, with that being said, we're gonna continue with this. We're gonna talk about how this all really started, right?
Yes, sir.
So Hope, take us away. How did this all start?
It really just started with the desire to get people in the file and enable them to like learn through play, right? And so it was through that consistency, like over the Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. And I mean, y'all showed up, and that kind of gave me the motivation to keep going. It wasn't like maybe I thought it would work, but when y'all showed up and like y'all put in the energy and the work and the laughs, we were able to keep it going. And now
keep it going.
And now we're here. Keep it going, right? Because sometimes
keep it going.
It's a wave, right? Yeah. So you got the waves that go up, you got the waves that come down, and you need people that know how to surf. So with that being said, we got a lot of surfers here, right?
Yes, sir.
Love that.
If we look at these numbers, let's talk about these numbers. 9,000 plus Clubhouse followers. Wild. Are you getting that?
Right? 9,000 from all over the world.
Active sessions.
Yeah.
But let's not forget this last one. We are laying it down for 3 hours at a time on average.
So when we do work, we go deep into the work.
We go deep. We work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We work. All right. So let's talk about how it does work, right? Of course, that very famous line by Missy Elliott, put my thing down, flip it and reverse it. We all know about that. Maybe not everybody knows about that. Okay. Let's see. How does this all come together?
Yeah, I can walk us through it. So how it happens is everyone joins the Clubhouse room and we just talk. We talk about what's going on in our day. We talk about what's going on at work. We talk about just random things that are happening in the world today. And then we point everybody to the URL. For this one, it's going to be configandchill.com. And then once they get to the URL, they can jump into the Figma file. We set the theme and design together from there.
You know, that's and we got to talk about the resets, right? Because sometimes you go through these, they get a little wonky. You got to set people back up, right? So how do we typically reset a room?
Yeah, so usually it's all right, I think it's time to reset the room, and then they
let's reset this. Can we reset this room right now?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
We need to reset.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
The Figma and Chill at Config. Yes, I am Hope, and we are presenting Figma and Chill at Config, if I didn't say that already. So now we probably need to show you what we've been telling you, because visuals elevate your understanding. All right, what have we done in Figma?
And we should warn some people, you know, once again, we had a lot of creatives come together when we were making these, right? So let's not forget that. This is a worldwide audience here. We got to talk about this very first one, which was New Year's. We brought in the New Year's together, right? So Valerie, tell us about this session.
This is a session I don't think I'll ever forget. I mean, we had celebrated New Year's between how many different time zones? Was it 3? Was it 4?
It was a lot.
Like
yeah.
It was a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we had bubbly flowing. We had conversations going. We were planning out what our vision of 2021 would look like together as a community. But I think between all of that going on, we also learned how to mask together. I mean, come on, we've been talking about masks all 2020, and we finally learned how to do it in Figma as a group, as a community. Wasn't that awesome?
Yeah, and you know, I didn't really know how to mask before that, but once I learned how to mask, like my mask game went from here all the way here. And that really showed in our episode, All Things Atlanta, in this collage of all Atlanta people, I guess Atlantaites, whatever, legends there. But what was also really cool is that we also learned that, you know, you can do GIFs in Figma. So shout out to Omar, our homie from Toronto, who came into the file and did our very first Figma and Chill GIF. And we also got to give a shout out to Raji's plugin for allowing us to.
Yes, sir.
I wasn't ready.
No, we weren't.
I wasn't.
All right. So, you know, you saw how we did the vision board, and then we took what we learned there. We kind of applied it to this next session of All Things Atlanta. You know, let's talk about this story right here, because this is a very particular story. So Hope, tell us how the story started.
So we were in one of these sessions, and one of our esteemed colleagues was trying to draw a hand on this here SpongeBob, and she called out for help, and she couldn't. I had to. So everyone's cursors came onto this.
Just making a hand, right?
Yeah.
Making a hand is difficult for any artist.
Exactly.
Think about it. So what did we do? We highlighted that hand.
Yes.
We made it the topic of the night. And not only is this hand just here, this hand is now an official Figma and Chill asset.
Yes, sir.
That is correct. Right? So as you see here, this wonderful artwork, that is the hand of God, right? Father, stretch my hand. Shout out to Kanye. You already know what it is. Let's keep it going. We got to talk about the Fresh Prince reunion, right? Is this a time where we came to Clubhouse and like, let's see what we can design?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I was like, yes, it is.
Yeah. This is how the cast reunion was. Y'all know that, right? They got into the room, and then they was waiting for Will to walk in. He walked in. They was like, who speaks first?
Yeah, it was definitely the Figma and Chill in the original Prince of Bel-Air logo for me. I think that's.
Yeah, I really love
my favorite
that
part
too.
about this has to be the quote: when someone's not trying to chill in a Figma file, what are you doing in life? You got to question everything. But how could we forget Michael B. Plant Bay? Come on, I honestly don't know what it was. It's just there was so much attention to detail on this one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look at this, the center one. So shout out to Nanurl for making this. I think we should just go ahead and make this a Figma and Chill Nifty or NFT and sell that on the blockchain.
Oh, you're right about that. That's coming up soon. We don't want to give away all the secrets and gems right away. But yeah, this is probably going to be on there. Shout out to De Niro, who presented yesterday. Let's not forget the Grammys, right? Y'all talk about a Grammy. This is Black excellence, right? Is this not the time where you got Biggie's crown, you got Megan, you got Beyonce? Y'all not telling me who that person is coming down the stage, but
I heard it's not Jason Derulo though.
Yeah, but
it's not Jason Derulo. Yeah. We actually have to make this an official GIF and put it into our file. So let's not forget. We have these highs, but we also have these lows, right? So RIP to just a legend, DMX, Dark Man X. Right. This is the time where we got together and we actually talked about these things. And that's one thing that I love about Figma and Chill is we come together. We talk about our day. We talk about what's happening in society, but we also keep it chill and like to have fun. So I think you guys are really ready for this one. And I think the world's ready for this one. Are you sure?
I don't think so.
Valerie,
I don't think. I really don't know. I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous. Maybe we can go quick.
And wax, baby. We are ready to travel. I think I saw some notes like over 50% of people are ready to just hop on a plane and get flown out. So I don't know. How was the time during the session?
It was very interesting, honestly. Like
just left you speechless at a point, right?
Left you speechless at a point.
Left you speechless. Okay, so let's keep it going, right? Because we had a mixture. We had people that were coming in having fun, but we also had like professional designers come in. They're like, I want to learn something new about Figma, and we're like, we're chilling right now, right? So what do? We created a whole new section where you could do everything from product design and UI design and learn about the various features of Figma. And this is our very first UI session. So Valerie, take us through this. Hope, add in some things.
Right. I think this was Valentine's Day. We were making a room about singles on Clubhouse because that's the thing you do in the middle of a pandemic on Clubhouse, right, Hope?
Yes, exactly. And it was pretty great. I felt like the singles were an underserved market and we served them beyond the just beyond. Hope,
don't be modest here. Okay. This is the time where you were using that late night voice that you read to people and getting DMs. This is not true.
We definitely gave the singles what they needed on
Valentine's Day.
But it's great. Like even during these sessions, we iterate and we like improve the process. And
so these sessions happen, right? They happen like once a week.
Yeah, every Saturday.
You know what? We'll get into that. So I think people really want to know what are the secrets? Like, what's the sauce, right? So Aladrian, what is the sauce?
All right, so it's in the title, so there should be no surprise. It's connection. We invite people to chat. We allow people to be themselves and to do their thing. It's community. So again, Hope opened that room. Nobody came, but then 2 people came, and then more people came, and people continue to show up. And then it's culture. I think it starts with the people. It starts with Black people. It starts with Black culture. And we continue to push the culture forward through collaborating using Figma.
You're absolutely right about the culture, right? So we got to make sure we hold on to this thing that as Black creative techies, right? We own a different part of the culture that people don't typically talk about, right? So let's talk about our day ones and the I was here's. Right. So we have a digital board that we have people sign up and just add their tags. Right. Because when you're here, you're family. I don't know about all that, but all right in a moment. But we got day ones, right? People that showed up from the very first day to now, and people that when they come for the first time, they just keep coming, right? Nonstop. So with that being said, we are going to go to the growing pains, right? What are some of the growing pains?
When we think about it, we talked about a lot of the amazing things that have happened because of our community, but we faced a lot of challenges. We started off with 3 people. Now we have a club full of 9,000 people. We got some growing pains. So one of the things that we noticed instantly is that we're dealing with people from all over the world. So time zones was an issue. We also had to pick up on different cultural experiences and just different life lessons that people from around the world are teaching us. But I mean, come on, it's only a few of us who are running these rooms. Burnout is real. We're living in very wild times. So being able to manage all of this, because we do it for free, we have to figure out how we can stay consistent on top of keeping up the vibes of the room and making sure that we have the quality that people are looking for. But I mean, come on, we also encounter a lot of trolls. I believe we get some different type of trolls because it's a room full of like Black techies. And so we have to learn how to manage that, right?
You troll us, we troll back.
Yeah, it's not safe.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about what's next, right? And I'm just gonna go through this really quick because we got some things for y'all. So what's next is, you heard it. We got Figma and Chill. We got Figma no chills. We get a little wild in there, right? So as you can see here, the spice level on one is a little bit high. Spice level on the other is a little bit low. If you want to be part of something where you learn about UI, join our Saturday sessions. You can see it right here. There's some details where we focus around product design, right? And this is going through the process. If you want to kick it and really just talk about the things we talk about, join us at Figma No Chills. That is a members only, right? It's really exclusive. So make sure that you tap on that green Clubhouse if you're on Clubhouse, right? And for those that can't get into the club, I think we got something for you. I think we got a few passes to get you onto Clubhouse. With that being said, tonight we're going to do a very special edition of Config and Chill. You heard that right. You heard it here first. We're going to be presenting live on Clubhouse. So make sure you join. And for those who can't get in, we're going to live stream this, right? So you can join the file. Y'all heard about all those new releases. We're going to take advantage of them. Right?
Tonight.
Right. So let's go to some key takeaways before we head up out of here, right? We got a few things.
So the first key takeaway is, if you make it safe for Black people, you're making it safe for all people. Sometimes it's something you have to work
for most people.
It's not an instant thing, right?
Yeah, and you definitely want to make your experiences, make your communications not boring. And I think that's just inherent in the people that show up every time at Figma and Chill.
You said it. Don't be boring, right? But let's talk about, let people know they're valued. If people are giving their time to you, they are coming here and they are spending their moments. Let them know, hey, we appreciate you.
Yeah. So all y'all in the chat,
you gotta remember to take that yoga breath and chill. That doesn't just work here. That works everywhere. So get that stomach breath in, right? And I think with that being said, is there any last words? Because I think we're about to wrap up.
I just wanted to take the time to thank all the people who came to this talk. Like, thank all the people in our community. This would be nothing if y'all didn't show up with us, if y'all didn't come turn up the chat, if y'all didn't come chat with us on Clubhouse or create the files. And also shout out to you, Dee. Shout out to you, Valerie. And shout out to you, Hope. And the whole Figma squad. And that's it.
That's it. I think you said it right there. So with that being said, make sure we head over to, oh, you know what? That was it. I think that was what was next. I think that was the last part. We're supposed to leave on that one.
We can leave on this
one. That was it.
Yes.
Is that it? Is that how you wrap it up? You wrap it up like that? A little...
Yeah.
They're looking for the cue. The cue is here.
Yeah.
I'm seeing you eye to eye. Right?
Yeah.